Welcome back to Tap the Vault. I'm your host, Dex, and today we're diving into The War of Art by Steven Pressfield, a must-read for anyone with big goals or dreams. Joining me, as always, is Ray, our book expert.
Hey, Dex. The War of Art is such a great read. It's not just a book, it's a call to action. Pressfield dives into the core issue that every one of us faces when pursuing something important: resistance. This book is all about learning how to beat that resistance, show up every day, and ultimately do the work we're meant to do.
Resistance doesn't discriminate. It hits everyone, whether you're a writer, entrepreneur, or just trying to make a positive change. It's a force designed to keep you from reaching your potential. If you've ever felt like you're fighting yourself to get things done, you're not alone. So Ray, what's this book about, and why should people care?
Resistance is that invisible force that makes us doubt ourselves, procrastinate, or avoid the work we know we need to do. It shows up as fear, self-doubt, distractions, or even illness. It's relentless, but it's also part of the process. It's a sign you're on the right track, pushing towards something meaningful.
That's powerful. So the more resistance you feel, the more important the task is?
Exactly. And once you realize that resistance is a part of the journey, you can start to see it for what it really is, a sign that what you're working on matters. But the big question is, how do you fight it?
Great question. So let's explore how to fight resistance, turn professional, and transcend it. So what exactly is resistance? What is this invisible force?
Resistance is that inner enemy, an invisible, relentless force that shows up whenever we try to pursue something meaningful. Whether it's writing a book, starting a business, or going for a run, resistance makes sure we don't show up for ourselves. It's that voice that says, "Not today," or "You're not good enough."
I've heard that voice. It's the one that says, "Oh, I'll just research running shoes for the next hour before I actually go for a jog." It's so easy to fall into that trap of procrastination.
That's how resistance works. It disguises itself as something productive but delays the real work. Whether it's over-planning, scrolling through social media, or obsessing over details, resistance keeps you from doing the hard work. It's not laziness, it's sabotage.
So resistance doesn't want us to be lazy. It wants to stop us from doing the things that matter. But why does it feel so intense?
Resistance is strongest when you're about to do something that truly matters. The more important a goal is to you, the harder resistance fights back. Whether it's writing a life-changing book or starting a purpose-driven business, resistance acts as a defense to keep you from reaching your full potential.
That makes sense. So the more resistance we feel, the more we should pay attention to what we're trying to accomplish?
Absolutely. It's counterintuitive, but resistance is a sign that the work you're trying to do is important. Resistance only shows up when you're doing something that has the potential to change you and the world around you. If it didn't matter, resistance wouldn't bother trying to stop you.
So it's not personal? Resistance is just doing its job?
Exactly. It's like gravity. It's not personal. It's just there. Everyone faces resistance. It's a universal experience. So when it shows up, it's actually a sign that you're on the right path. It's part of the creative process, whether you're writing, launching a business, or trying to get fit.
That's reassuring. It's good to know we're not alone in feeling it, but it's still tough to overcome, right? What are some of the common forms of resistance that people might not recognize?
Resistance shows up in many forms: procrastination, self-doubt, fear of failure, or even physical symptoms like fatigue or illness, right, when you start a project. It's the mind's way of keeping you from doing the work.
So it's not just a mental thing, it can show up physically too.
Resistance affects both the mind and the body, creating distractions, illness, and fatigue to keep you from the work. Often we don't even recognize it, thinking we're just tired or need more time, but that's all part of resistance.
I think we've all been there, but once we recognize it, what's next? How do we fight back?
That's the million-dollar question. The first step is recognizing resistance for what it is, a natural part of the process. Once you identify it, you can take action. You stop making excuses and just do the work.
So resistance is just a signal? The harder it tries to stop you, the more important the work is?
That's exactly it. And it's why we can't take resistance personally. It's not about you, it's about the work you're meant to do. When you feel resistance, it's proof that the work matters. And that's the best thing to keep in mind when it shows up.
Now that we understand what resistance is, how do we beat it and turn from amateurs into pros? Turning pro. What does that mean exactly?
Turning pro means treating your work like a professional, not a hobby. Amateurs wait for the perfect moment or let fear and doubt dictate their actions. Pros show up every day, no matter what, and do the work, even when they don't feel like it.
So it's about commitment, not just inspiration?
Amateurs wait for inspiration, but pros get to work, no matter how they feel. It's about making the work a daily habit and showing up even when you're not in the mood. The perfect moment rarely comes.
I see. So turning pro isn't about waiting for motivation. It's about creating a routine and sticking to it.
Yes. Pressfield uses a quote from Somerset Maugham to illustrate this. Maugham said, "I write only when inspiration strikes. Luckily, it strikes at 9 every morning." The idea is that you create a structure where you just show up every day, whether you feel inspired or not. The consistency is what makes the difference.
So it's all about discipline, showing up day after day.
That's exactly it. It's about building a routine, no matter how small, that reinforces the habit of working. The key is to trust the process. Don't worry about the outcome right away, just do the work.
I like that. Focusing on the process, not the outcome. And it sounds like it's about building momentum.
That's right. The more you show up and do the work, the easier it becomes. And over time, you'll see that resistance starts to lose its power. The pro mindset helps you push through resistance because you're not waiting for the perfect feeling. You're creating the habit of showing up, and that's where growth happens.
It almost sounds like you're building a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger you get.
Exactly. Think of it like training for a marathon. You don't run 26 miles without building up to it. You start small, and over time, you build the endurance to keep going. The same goes for turning pro. It's about gradually building your capacity to do the work, even when it feels tough.
That's a great way to put it. Pressfield also talks about how pros handle fear and self-doubt, things that can paralyze an amateur. How do pros deal with those?
Pros don't let fear or doubt stop them. If you're feeling fear, it's a sign that you're on the right track. The bigger the fear, the more important the work. When you turn pro, you acknowledge the fear, but you don't let it control you. Instead, you act despite it. Pros show up even when they're scared or unsure.
That's a powerful idea, that fear is actually a sign you're doing something worthwhile.
Yes. Fear is part of the process. When you feel resistance and fear, it's not a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're moving towards something important. So pros don't wait for the fear to go away. They simply take action in spite of it.
It's almost like the fear is part of the growth process. So how does someone actually turn pro? What's the first step?
The first step is making the decision. Being a pro is a choice to commit to the work, not just when it's easy, but all the time. Like, you don't wait for the right time. You create it. And once you decide to show up, consistency and discipline build the habit of doing the work every day.
So it's about creating that commitment and structure, even when it feels hard.
Exactly. And once you commit to showing up every day, even for just a small amount of time, resistance starts to lose its grip on you. You start to see progress, and that's what keeps you going.
Turning pro is all about commitment and consistency, but there's another level, transcending resistance. Ray, what does it mean to transcend resistance?
Transcending resistance means reaching a higher level of creativity and purpose. Once transcending resistance means reaching a higher level of creativity and purpose. Once you commit to showing up every day, you stop working for external rewards and start working for the love of the craft. This is where you tap into a deeper part of yourself or a higher force that guides you.
A muse? That sounds a bit abstract. Can you explain more about that?
When you show up consistently, you create space for something beyond your conscious mind to step in and help. It's like you're meeting a gift halfway by doing the work. This is where inspiration flows, and the work becomes less about effort and more about channeling something bigger.
So, by committing to the process and working for the love of it, we open ourselves up to something greater than just the task at hand.
This is where the territorial mindset comes in, working within your own territory. Whether you're an artist, writer, or musician, the work itself becomes the reward. You stop caring about validation and focus solely on the process and what it teaches you.
That's an interesting shift, working for the sake of the work, not for the applause. So the work becomes its own reward.
Yes, and that's when the magic starts to happen. When you stop worrying about the outcome, the work itself becomes fulfilling. This is where inspiration can truly flow. Pressfield says, "When we make a start, Providence moves too. It's like when you show up, the universe meets you halfway."
So inspiration isn't something you wait for. It's something you create by doing the work. It's like the more you give, the more it comes back to you.
Exactly. And this is also where transcendence comes in. The more you show up, the more you're connected to something deeper than your ego. Pressfield argues that you're no longer just doing the work for yourself. You're doing it for something much bigger, whether that's the world, the craft, or a higher calling.
I love that idea. It's like when you focus on the process, your ego fades away and you become part of something greater. But I imagine it takes time to get there, right?
It takes time, but the more you commit, the more you build a relationship with the craft. You stop doing it for personal gain and start doing it because the work itself is the reward. That's when you transcend resistance.
It's about shifting your mindset from I need to succeed to I'm here to do the work. And when you focus on the work, the success follows, but it's not the driving force anymore.
Once you reach that point, the work gets easier. Resistance fades because you're no longer forcing it. You're doing the work because it feels right. The muse, the universe, or your deeper self takes over and guides you.
So the work becomes a kind of flow state where everything clicks. I think a lot of creatives talk about experiencing that, when time just melts away and everything feels effortless.
Exactly. And that's why Pressfield emphasizes that inspiration shows up when you're committed to the work, not when you wait for it to come to you. The more you show up, the more inspiration will find you. It's like magic, but you have to do the work first.
We've covered a lot today, resistance, turning pro, and transcending it to tap into something bigger. So let's wrap it up. Ray, what's the big takeaway for our listeners, and how can they start applying this to their own lives?
The big takeaway? Resistance is real but beatable. It's not personal. It shows up when the work matters. The first step is recognizing it. Then you fight it by turning pro, showing up daily, and committing to the work, not just the outcome.
Exactly. Once you commit, you begin to transcend resistance. When you stop chasing rewards and work for the love of the craft, creativity flows. The work becomes its own reward. And the more you show up, the more the universe meets you halfway.
Yes. And once you're there, resistance loses its grip. You're not fighting it anymore. You're simply doing the work you're meant to do. Fear and self-doubt may still show up, but they no longer control you.
Such a great message. Now it's your turn. What dream have you been avoiding? What's holding you back? Take one small step today, even 5 minutes. Don't wait for inspiration. Just start, and the rest will follow.
And once you've taken that step, share it with us. We want to hear what you're working on and how you're fighting resistance.
And before we wrap up, let's leave you with one last thought from the War of Art.
The more resistance you feel, the more important your work is.
Lean into that resistance and do the work. It's not easy, but it's worth it. That's it for today's episode of Tap the Vault. Grab a copy of The War of Art and start cracking those big ideas. We'll see you next time.
Remember, it's not about waiting for the perfect moment. Just start, and the rest will follow. Keep doing the work.